On the bench. The word on the streets is that we're going to take your calls the rest of the show, non-stop. We've had a bevy of guests on tonight. Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman, Rick Haro from the Honda Classic, David Steele from the Sporting News already, and Mr. Biyumbo. So we're going to talk a little bit now with you the rest of the way. And I want to start off with this Grayson Allen kid. You know, I got to tell you, I tweeted out earlier tonight on my website, ferrallonabench.com or whatever, on Twitter. I have like a Twitter feed on there, you can see it. And I think I tweeted out something like, it sure pays to go to Duke, doesn't it? Because Grayson Allen's not going to be suspended by the ACC for his blatant trip of Florida State Xavier Wraithen Mays. During that game last night, the ACC announced its stupid decision on Friday afternoon, saying that it had issued a reprimand to the Blue Devils' leading scorer. Obviously, Mike Krzyzewski's weight goes deep into the power brokerage firm of the ACC's head honchos, because how do you not suspend this guy or punish this guy when it's not only obvious that he tripped the kid? I mean, is there anyone on the face of the earth that saw that game, that saw that replay 50 times, which is exactly how many times they showed it? And is there anyone left that hasn't seen it a million times online that could actually sit here and tell me he didn't do that on purpose? Is there someone stupid enough to try to call me right now and tell me he didn't mean to trip him? Let me tell you something. From one slewfoot specialist to another. I have, as you know, Shep, been known to slewfoot. I only do it when I'm losing. So I have a problem with a guy like Grayson Allen that does it when they're winning by 15. Seriously, because when I did it, I was in the semifinals of a playoff game, and we were down like 12, and it was over, and it was like our third consecutive finals, semifinal loss in the playoffs. So we were like the Buffalo Bills. We just kept losing. So this guy hammered me over the back with his elbow in my head, in my skull. And I was like, all right, so you want to get chippy? You want to get a little chippy? You want to get a little dirty tonight? Because I'm like Rick Mahorn, brother. Whatever you want. You want Lane Beer, Mahorn? Who do you want? I mean, I can bad boys with the best of them. So if you want to get a little elbow to the back of the skull, then watch this. So the guy's going up the court, running full speed, and I drop kicked him a slew foot NHL style, and he flew across the floor and smacked his face on the hardwood. It didn't go over well with the league office, I can tell you. The guy got up and wanted to start a fist fight with me. That also wasn't going well for him because I wasn't afraid of him. He was some young dude, and I was just like, bro, I have old man strength, son. And I'm violent. So whatever you want. You want to elbow me in the head, you're going to get it back. I can promise you. I can do any number of things. The calf kick, the Achilles stomp, the Jesus plant on the top of the foot. You know what the Jesus plant is when they do the stake into the foot? You don't forget that one. That's the drop kick down heel stake to the foot, Jesus move. I can do any number of elbows to the groin, nose, face, orbital bone, temple. We can also get into maneuvering around pant yanks. Those are pant yanks where you yank the pants down and then you slew foot and they trip because their pants are down by their ankles. Any number of things. So I have been guilty of slew footing, as you know. But only when I'm losing. So when you're winning by 15 and you play at Duke and you're tripping some guy from Florida State blatantly on national television, and then the next day the ACC does nothing about it. I mean, it's just because he goes to Duke, some, like, as they like to say in the south of France, some white boy hotshot from Duke, some rich kid from Duke, with his, and I don't know if he's a rich kid from Duke, but aren't all kids that go to Duke rich? Unless they're on a full ride, right? Like, you can't go to Duke unless you have money, right? Except for the basketball players. They could come from, like, homelessness or something horrible, some sad tale. I feel bad for them. But when you play for this guy, it's unbelievable to me. And listen, I bet on Duke in the finals last year. I won everybody a ton of money. I have nothing against Duke. My dad went to Duke. My son, who is all of 11, wants to go to Duke, which I think he's just absolutely tripping. Like, 'cause I was like, don't go there, honestly. Go to Indiana, go to Miami, go somewhere cool. Don't do that to me. Don't go there and turn into my dad. Honestly. You wussy. Don't do that to me where, you know, Shep, is my dad like the snobbiest guy ever when it comes to like all that Duke BS that he tries to shovel at us all the time? Schneid, can you at least be honest with me and say that my dad is completely corrupted by Duke and he thinks all things Duke are religious? Right? They think they're awesome and perfect. Okay, so are you going to sit here? Did you see the guy trip him? Did he trip him intentionally? Second time. Do you believe that he should be suspended for a game for that trip? Do you believe that he gets off because he plays at Duke and Krzyzewski and they're afraid of him? I mean, without a doubt, in my opinion. There is such ridiculous coverage of this. In the video of the game, Allen was seen stretching his left foot backward near midcourt as Mays broke up court behind him. You know, he ran into Allen's leg and stumbled and fell. Allen then turned and with his outstretched arms, he wanted to keep playing physical, so I tried to walk away from it as he was grabbing me. We ended up tangling up and falling. That is such BS. Are you kidding me? You're going to sell me Girl Scout cookie answers? Are you kidding me? He absolutely leg whipped, slew-footed him, and tripped him as sure as I'm sitting here. And then the ACC is afraid of Mike Krzyzewski, and they would it'd be beyond them to ever compromise their money-making operation, otherwise known as Cameron Indoor, where they film every single basketball game on the face of the earth and make tons of money. The ACC, what would they be without Duke? I mean, honestly, in basketball, it's all about Duke, isn't it? Isn't it all about Duke in North Carolina? It doesn't matter, you know, Miami is having a great season. No one cares about Miami. Except me. I love the Canes. I love Larinaga. Does anyone really care about Virginia basketball? I mean, besides people that live in Virginia. Duke and North Carolina get national exposure, son. Every single game they play is on national television. Where would the ACC be without Duke and North Carolina feeding their Koffers? They're not going to punish this kid. When is the last time anyone at Duke got in trouble for anything? Seriously. Suleiman left. He was accused of sexual assault. Is that about right? He went to Maryland. Now he doesn't matter, even though he's a great basketball player. No one cares about him anymore. They cared about him when he played at Duke. At Duke, he was a PTPer. Now he just plays at Maryland. Right? I think he's a great player, but let's face it, if you go to Duke, you're spit shining and everybody just thinks you're fantastic, and you go to church and everyone loves you. You go anywhere else and you're a bum. Is that about right? How in God's name? He tripped a Louisville player in their win over the Cardinals February 8th and got a flagrant. He leads the team in scoring, so does he get preferential treatment? My God, he's like Jesus, he got preferential treatment. This guy, are you kidding me? You do it once and get a flagrant. Then you do it again and you get a letter, a letter of recommendation from the ACC? Are you kidding me? Like, this guy gets away with murder. I don't even want to hear it. You didn't even watch the game or the play. I don't think it's worse than Sue. Wasn't he like stomping on people? guy was like, Sue is stomping on people. Allen's too much of a wussy to hurt anyone. He's like a skinny white boy who couldn't hurt a flea. His sister can probably beat him up. And they talk about how great he is as a player. Like last year, he played great in the tournament and had a couple of big buckets. And this year, he's their leading scorer. And he led Duke with 18 points in that game. He's trying to be the ninth player in Duke history to lead the team in scoring and assists. And he was not called for a single foul in the game. This guy gets absolutely rose-colored treatment from the refs. It's like, oh my God. You know who he reminds me of? J.J. Redick. Didn't he play there and get the cushy treatment too? And everybody hated his guts? Same thing. Now people hate Grayson Allen's guts, and he's like they don't even call fouls on him. Did you see the game-winning shot he hit a couple weeks ago when he took like 7 steps when he shot the winning shot at the buzzer? Do you remember that game? And he walked so badly, so blatantly that the next day everyone in the world said that he walked. But when the game happened and he shot the ball, all they talked about the announcers is how great he is. And what a fantastic buzzer beater it was. What an incredible rising star. What a leading scorer. What a team leader. What a captain. He's a PTP'er. Oh, are you serious? Grayson Allen. No one ever calls a foul against him. He's allowed to trip people and get away with it ad nauseum because he plays for Coach K. He learned everything from Robert Montgomery Knight. Oh, it's unbelievable. Cameron Endor. The crazies. They're going crazy. He gets away with murder. By the way, he took 5 steps on that one, Dick. Oh, no, he didn't, Ferrall. You're imagining things. He only took 4.5 steps. Come on, give a little PTP, Ferrall. Are you serious? It's Duke, North Carolina. Can you believe the Dukies went on the road? Can you believe they went on the road and get it done in Chapel Hill? Jesus. My dad actually texted me that the Florida State kid should be blamed for forcing Grayson Allen to trip him with chippy play earlier in the game. My dad said he had it coming because of all of his physical play. And that Grayson Allen should have done it to him for the way this kid was going at the star preferential treatment guard of the Blue Devils. Never gets called for a foul. Hey, is he doing any TV commercials with Mike Krzyzewski in the coming weeks? Because I know he does all the TV commercials with emojis and everything. Maybe Grayson can get his own sneaker line before he gets out of Duke. While he's walking and taking 5 steps on his game-winning shots. And then the rest of the time he plays, he's tripping the brothers who run up the floor because they're faster than his white, skinny ass. Does that sound about right? Thank you. I thought that should sum it up. 855-212. 4227. What's the matter? Don't you like me?